started here, a couple of quick things. If you haven't grabbed your clicker yet, then be sure you come and get it before we start taking votes. You are not allowed to use someone else's clicker. You're not allowed to vote for them. There is no proxy voting. Also, we will be swearing in all of the new senators before we take opening roll. So if you are a new senator, then please come to the front of the room right now.
Y'all, front of the room. This is where we do initiation. I'm just kidding. Yes. Okay, that was all that. I forgot.
It's okay. Everybody knows who you are.
We do. Chief Justice Charles Chuck Arthur to the front of the room. Amassed in front of him, a large group of new senators hoping to serve the student body well. Who? Anna. What's her plot?
I mean, if y'all contested, I guess I can technically Thank you for saying that. I'm going to be speaking in
Like last week. What about you?
No, I need one.
Oh, what are y'all doing in this
Chief Justice Charles Arthur will be administering the oath. So, go ahead and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. I solemnly swear to faithfully execute.
Do solemnly swear to faithfully execute.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
The position of, and state your position.
The position of.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association.
To uphold the honor of the same.
To uphold the honor of the same.
At all times to protect the welfare.
At all times to protect the welfare.
Of the student body.
Of the student body.
And to promote good relations.
And to promote good relations.
Between those concerned with the university.
Between those concerned with the university.
And the students.
And the students.
Congratulations. Good. Speaker Fernandez.
Can
I take it? Yeah.
come over here? Huh?
Speaker Bowen.
Howdy.
Myself. Chair Perez.
Howdy.
Chair Mandry.
Howdy.
Chair Fries.
Howdy.
Chair Cheshire. Chair Ganoon. Chair Ganoon. Chair Sosa.
Howdy.
Chair Miller. Miller. Senator Sang. Sang. Senator Gordon. Senator Howard.
Howdy.
Senator Coyle.
Howdy.
Senator Patrick. Patrick.
Howdy.
Senator Tosh.
Howdy.
Senator Rhodey. Senator Smith. Senator Blunt.
Howdy.
Senator Grisham.
Howdy.
Senator Buckley.
Howdy.
Senator Zelaya. Senator Parks. Senator Davis. Senator Nate.
Howdy.
Senator Garcia. Senator Springer.
Here.
Senator Giles.
Howdy.
Senator Cantwell.
Howdy.
Senator Mitchell.
Howdy.
Senator O'Neill.
Howdy.
Senator Green. Senator Kasarek.
Howdy.
Senator Marlowe.
Howdy.
Senator McCreary. Senator Brooker. Senator Carpenter.
Howdy.
Senator Owens.
Howdy.
Senator Wilrich.
Howdy.
Senator McNutt.
Howdy.
Senator Valentin.
Howdy.
Senator Jones. Senator Johnson. Senator Hurley. Senator Woolsey.
Howdy.
Senator Boyd. Senator Allen. Senator G.
Howdy.
Senator Russo.
Howdy.
Senator Poghotter.
Howdy.
Senator Kelly.
Howdy.
Senator Fuquay.
Howdy.
Senator Brown. Senator Mulley. Senator Hawks. Senator Melendez. Senator Williamson.
Howdy.
Senator Weaver. Senator Blessing.
Howdy.
Senator Wood. Senator Fuente.
Howdy.
Senator Shamino.
Howdy.
Senator Dewberry. Senator Jenkins.
Howdy.
Senator Lofton.
Here.
Senator Wood.
Howdy.
Senator Fuquay. Senator Basler. Senator Burns.
Howdy.
Senator Klingman.
Howdy.
Senator Morehouse.
Howdy.
Senator Graham. Senator Mountain. Senator Walters.
Howdy.
Senator Black.
Howdy.
Senator Bayona.
Howdy. All right, that's all. Next up will be Senator Woolsey giving the invocation and pledges of allegiance.
All right, guys, let's pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for just being able to bring this body together so we can serve you and serve these students, Lord. And I ask that you just be with the families of the Aggies and the Corps that we lost earlier this week, and for the ones still recovering, Lord, that you just be with their family and their friends, and just comfort them in this time. Lord, I just ask you for wisdom for us and for our campus leaders and all the way up to our national leaders, God, that we just make decisions that serve you and serve the people that we represent, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. Our core values are excellence, integrity, respect, loyalty, leadership, and selfless service.
Thank you, Senator Woolsey. The chair has been made aware of 3 items for open forum. First up is Jeremy Sullivan, representing Traditions Council.
Howdy.
Howdy.
And welcome to Student Senate for everybody who's new. I hope you'll have fun tonight. I just wanted to share with all of you, on behalf of Traditions Council, an opportunity that we have to give back to our community. Most of you have probably heard of it, or heard about it so far. It's been all over Facebook, and if you walked through Robert Plaza today, if you ignored all the Victoria's Secret stuff, you saw it. We are doing a $1 t-shirt sale to benefit the families of the Bryan firefighters who were killed or injured responding to the Knights of Columbus fire on February 15th last month. So tomorrow is our last day to do sales on campus. We collected t-shirts from a lot of organizations and we're selling each of them for $1. So especially if you wear mediums or smalls, come out tomorrow. We do have some t-shirts left. You can purchase them for $1. And all of that money goes to the Brazos Valley Media Giving Back Fund, which will go to benefit their families. Also, if you don't have a chance to come to campus tomorrow, or you won't be by Robert Plaza, or you don't have $1 on you, stop by any of the 3 Aggieland Outfitter locations in College Station, one on University, one on George Bush, and then one at the mall. Aggieland Outfitters is selling a bunch of their back stock that they are having a hard time to getting rid of. So if you go there, they're selling those for $1 as well, and all of that money that they raise will also go to the Traditions Council Fund to help those families. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Senator Woolsey and then Senator Cox. And if anyone else has a question, the way you ask your question is by raising your placard like this, and just make sure, keep it raised until I acknowledge you. I'll just look at you and like point or something, but I do get them all down, or at least I try to. So first is Senator Woolsey.
Howdy, Senator Woolsey, Northside. You mentioned there being lots of smalls and mediums. I hope you're not going to discriminate against the XL in the room.
I personally don't discriminate against anybody. I personally wear large. Unfortunately, whenever I went this afternoon, the shirts that we had outside at our plaza were kind of thin, so to speak. Larges were hard to come by, especially in shirts that were really popular. I looked for probably 15 minutes for a large long sleeve on sweatshirt, and I could not find one to save my life. But if you wear small, which apparently no one in Texas A&M does, feel free to come in. Understand that it's not going to be this cold for very long, so
Senator Cox.
Howdy, Katie Hawk, South Campus. What times are y'all going to be there tomorrow?
we will be in Ryder Plaza tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. or until we're out of shirts. But like I said, you can go to any of the 3 Aggieland Outfitters locations during their normal business hours, Thursday through, I believe, Sunday, and purchase shirts there as well.
Thank you.
All right, are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for coming.
Thanks for being here.
Next is Julian Whitley, a poli-sci history major from off campus.
Howdy.
Howdy.
As the speaker already said, my name is Julian Whitley. I've had the honor of serving on the judicial court for this past semester. But after going an entire semester without having a single case, the court finally received a few cases these past few weeks. In these cases, however, there was something that was lacking. A sense of decorum. A judicial proceeding requires a certain level of decorum from the justices, the parties involved, and the audience members. So I'd like to take the time to tell you what is not appropriate, since some of you may not know. First and foremost, mobile phone usage. We're all connected to the world through our smartphones these days. But during a hearing, disruptive usage of your phone is not, it's not acceptable. And if you need to use your phone, please step outside the room. Please do not text any of the justices during the hearing or during deliberations. Professional. Secondly, a few of you have served on the court in the past and may feel compelled to give your advice. Unless explicitly asked for, I would, and the court would please help, or we would like that you don't give your advice. You've moved on to the Senate or exec, and that kind of goes against the separate equal branch system that we so advocate here. Third, it is completely understandable that a party involved or an audience member may want to speak out of turn. Please refrain from doing so. This impedes in the process of the case. Any outbursts will not influence the justice's opinion on the case at hand. Lastly, if at any point any party or audience member is deemed disrupted by any of the justices, by any of the points enumerated here or another, they will be asked to leave. And with that concludes my short little speech. So thank you for your time and for lending me your ears.
All right, are there any questions for Mr. Whitley? Seeing none, thank you for coming. The final item for open forum is Emily, Hunter, and Ben representing Kitchens, and they're all off campus.
Hi, all. I'm Hunter and Ben. Yeah, Hunter couldn't make it. All right, tonight we're going to talk to you about the custodial banquet.
Yeah, so basically, we'll give y'all an opportunity to ask us questions, but if y'all have heard, which hopefully we have, we are hosting our annual custodial banquet. We've done this for a few years through Fishes. And last year we were able to serve 200 custodians, and this year we're moving it to 500. And so this is kind of a chance for us, our heart behind this is a chance to say thank you to the people who serve us and to the people who are rarely thanked. And what I really love about it is that it's not about me, it's not about you, it's not about Senate, it's not about fish aids. It's about taking service to the next step and selflessly serving them. And that's something that I think is really special and really sweet that we get to be a part of and that we, as SGA this year, get to do together. This is solely led by the freshmen. And so that's a really great thing. So Ben's going to tell you all a little bit about what Senate's part in this custodial banquet is like.
All right, so Senate is responsible for fundraising. All right, so we're asking, you should have gotten an email, I'm hoping. We're asking that each of the committees raise money like $100, $200 per committee so that we can put that all into a pot. And that can be however you want to fundraise. You can all donate $100. You can, do whatever. You can sell puppies, forge signatures and sell them. Anything. But we are asking that you kind of take it seriously and try to bring some money in because otherwise we can have nice things and give back to the nice custodians. So if you have any questions, me and Patrick and the other fish aides in Senate can answer them.
So basically what I want this to look like is y'all kind of lead the freshmen, y'all lead Ben, and y'all lead Patrick, and y'all really are a great example to them. I'm kind of speaking for you, I'm sorry. But,
you're a great example.
And so this is kind of a chance for them to lead you, which is kind of flip-flop from what Fish Aids is. And for them to get the chance to get a team together and work for something. And with this money that we're raising, last year we were able to give every custodian either a gift, like a gift card to Sonic or to, HEB or wherever, or some coupons that would give them some really good tickets. And so it'll also go towards the food. If you can imagine, food for over 500 people is a little expensive. And we're having the event in the MSC ballroom. And so even the funds to have that room, we've gotten a good deal, but still a good chunk of dollar, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's right.
Question?
Yeah, again, the first question, Senator Woolsey.
Hi, Senator Woolsey, Northside. So when is this banquet and when do you need the money raised by?
That is an excellent question. The banquet is on April the 15th. 12 to 2? The money needs to be in a week before that, so like April 9th week, that week-ish. A month from now. We have about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't put a hard date on that, but about a month from now. A month from now.
Okay. Thank you.
And something that I know our freshmen last year, they fundraised in a week, and I think they just went to different businesses and asked people, hey, this is what we're doing, this is our heart behind it, this is our cause. And I think they raised over $1,000 in a week, just 2 or 3 freshmen. And so I'm partially telling you that because I want to light a fire under your butt and say, if 2 or 3 freshmen can do that, we're expecting big things. But also just to show how great this can be, and how great we can do when HGA comes together.
All right, Senator Zelaya.
Senator Zelaya, College of Education. My question is, so if you want to get about 500 people to the meeting, how are you planning on our reach? Because it's going to be during the weekend. How can we actually help out to actually get 500 people ready?
Right, so we have different committees. So fundraising is one committee that the freshmen have been delegated to. Another one is, so to answer your question more directly, we have the contact of whoever is in charge of the custodians. And so they've been contacted. The custodians know, hey, from 12 to 2, this is when we're going to have this banquet. And we have a team that's doing entertainment, decoration. So the theme is superhero. And we'll have a dance party and probably some photography and videography. And it's just a chance for them to hang out, hang with students. Y'all are all welcome to come. I'm pretty sure, so you can quote me on that, because if not, then there's going to be some money coming out of my bank account, but that's okay. So yeah.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
All right, And there is one more item for open forum that I was just made aware of. Mark Womack, class of 2011, on campus, and Executive Vice President for John Clayburg will be giving a short report.
So, howdy.
Howdy.
So, unfortunately, John couldn't be here tonight, and this is when I'm doing the executive report now, because I can't do it later. So, just a couple of things to update you on. John couldn't be at the meeting tonight. He's got 2 papers and a test this week, so it's been kind of draining. So, he has used his one get out of jail free card and missed this meeting to study. So, that's where he's at tonight, but he's obviously always happy to talk to you guys. On the legislative front, we've had a good couple of weeks. Senator Ganoon, or Chair Ganoon, who's not here, his bill about first aid kits in the architecture building was well received. Sent it on to Jorge Venegas, who has the coolest accent in ET. And he forwarded that on to some, so we're working to make sure that happens. But we had to snafu with that in that there's actually I think 3 years ago, they had first aid kits in classrooms throughout the Langford building, but people are actually stealing the supplies that they can find. So that is one of those things where research on the front end of legislation can really make the enactment of legislation go a lot farther and a lot faster. Because now that we know that, we have to figure out a new solution. So that's just kind of a heads up on that. We got an answer on Senator Woosley's bill, parking, it's SB 6544. The lines have been replaced, and actually that whole lot is going to be replaced at the end of the summer. So that's taken care of. Those are the kind of bills that there's a problem, it's identified, and it's fixed. And that's a great job by Chris and a great piece of legislation. We've sent out now the Cheshire, or as I call them, Cheshire, nose face, as changed the Constitution. So we've got that report into IA. We'll have that up to date every Sunday. If you guys have any questions on specific enactment of legislation, always feel free to talk to me. 2 upcoming things that we're very excited about. You just heard one of the Fish Aids custodial banquet. One campaign promise that John had was that every single student organization in SGA was going to be involved in a service event. And Fish Aids have always had the custodial banquet, but opening up to all of SGA and getting everybody to participate. So you guys are in charge of fundraising. The exec council, we're much smaller. We're in charge of cleanup, and every single committee has also been asked to pitch in as well. And so it's a really cool opportunity. So I really do ask you to take that seriously because, as you guys know, the custodians, they do so much for this university and don't always get the most fame. So just a banquet, one day a year to thank them, I think is a great thing. We're really proud of that organization for doing it. The other thing we're really excited about this next week, Stephen Traeger's LR team is going to be heading up to DC for the SEC in DC. I think some of you in this room are going with them. I know Holly Scott, Vice President of Student Services, is going with them, and they're going to go up there to advocate for legislation. And that's a great opportunity to talk about legislation if, of course, Senator Rand Paul is done talking about it. That's pretty awesome. So that's happening. But that's a great opportunity for us to make higher education a priority for the federal government, but also it's really exciting because Texas A&M was able to be a leader in the SEC and start this event. So this is the very first year that it's happening, and we're really excited about that taking place, and we hope that next year continues. I know some of you guys have expressed interest in going next year. Highly recommend that you inquire about that next year, because I think it's going to be Texas A&M sponsoring again next year, or leading it again next year. So those are 2 upcoming things we're pretty excited about. With that, any questions?
All right, are there any questions for the Vice President? Seeing none, thank you for coming. And that all right, next up is we will move right into old business. So we will start taking votes on bills. And basically how this works is each bill author gives a presentation, and then there's a period for question and answer, and then we move right into debate and then vote. So again, if you haven't grabbed your clicker, please come get it. I assume everyone has one by now. But other than that, Chairman Henry, if you want to go ahead and give the presentation.
Howdy.
Okay, so this bill is, well, this is what we're asking for in this bill. This is a service called Google Apps for Education. So I want you to kind of imagine a day in the future, Texas A&M University, when all of your IT services just work great. Your email syncs to your phone. You don't have to forward it to your Gmail account anyway because it doesn't suck. You register for your classes and your phone already has your calendar on it because it syncs to Google Calendar, which syncs to your phone. And then you can coordinate with your friends to set up meetings for projects because they have their calendar in Google Calendar as well. So all you have to do is say, hey, find me a time for a meeting, and it happens like that. This is an experience that students across the nation are already having, and we want it too. So Google Apps for Education is a free service, 100% free for the university and for students, that basically gives you this whole apps package, right? You can click on the product, for free to the university. So what that means is Gmail, it doesn't mean that we're all getting Gmail accounts instead of TAMU email accounts. Basically all our TAMU.edu accounts will work with the Gmail interface. That's university branded. It's still an A&M side, but it's a Gmail interface. So much more easy to use. It doesn't go down for a few hours over the weekend like it did this weekend. 99.9% guaranteed uptime. The calendar, like I mentioned, Drive, so everyone gets several gigs of online storage space for free. If y'all have gotten the pop-up on your when you got OAL computer that says you're running out of profile space and you have 750 megabytes, well, you get like at least 5 gigs for free that you can use to collaborate with people and store that. But one thing I forgot to mention about the Gmail is that other universities like TU that switch to this, their alumni get those emails for life. So you could potentially have a tamu.edu email address for the rest of your life. And on, you get a lot of stuff. I think y'all get the idea. Could you pull up the bill, please? There it is. All right. And so let's see. Okay, so we definitely put a lot of work, a lot of research into this bill. I hope you read it. I know not all of you senators probably read it. Just so you know, you should read bills before you can consider things. But it's this is actually an amendment I'm going to propose, just a few revisions. But yeah, so I'm not going to read through the bill. Anything to add? Okay, perfect. Well, any questions?
All right, the first question will go to Senator Woolsey.
Hey, Senator Woolsey, Northside. Okay, so you mentioned how much the other universities have saved. I was just wondering if you know kind of about what it would save our university.
That would be really hard for me to know because I'm not the CFO of the university. Or
Point of information,
yes, sir.
Does not the speaker know the answer to that question?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's all right, I asked you that.
Okay, I know how much, I do know how much could be saved by moving the email system over. I don't know about the rest of the services. The email, the various estimates I've heard for savings from email would be between $20,000 to $100,000. But I don't have data on the rest of the services.
And there are some like transition costs that would have to be factored in because we can't, it's not just automatically saving money. There's going to be some costs to transition, but.
Yeah, and I'd like to bring up, you scroll up, I was given that quote too. 20,000 is actually really low on it. It's not factoring in the actual hosting costs. I mean, we employ people to run the servers that host all of our email, which is really slow anyway. Vanderbilt University, they have less than 12,000 students. They saved $750,000. Notre Dame, 12,000 students saved $1.5 million. So I think if you look at the end-to-end cost savings on this, it's actually going to be very substantial. So in my opinion, there's no reason not to do this, honestly. We're kind of behind the curve here.
All right, next question, Senator Cunett. Next question, Senator Walters. Yes, okay, so you stand up, state your name and caucus, and then.
Senator Walters, veterinary medicine, climate science. I was told, and this is not a stone cold fact, but I was told that Gmail is actually easier to hack than our own listed system. Do you know if that's true, or should you only do that?
Google, get hacked. So Google will run this program, this Gmail for us. I mean, when's the last time you heard of Gmail getting hacked? It's actually probably one of the most, the only incident I can think of is when the Chinese government tried to hack in, but they didn't get it. That's a whole other story. But Google has the most hardened hardware and software stack in the world. And I know that for a fact. I don't want to say it this way, but it's absolutely not true that it's easier to hack. If anything, it's probably 100 times harder to hack Gmail.
They also do updates. They update the thing for free.
Yeah, so one of the great things about this is that unlike how we pay for people to keep updating our software, this just gets updated Gmail has a release cycle every day, so every day Gmail gets updated, and it's transparent to us.
All right, next question goes back to Senator Woolsey.
Senator Woolsey, Northside. What was it? Oh yeah. Okay, so you mentioned that we would be able to get these emails for the rest of our life from the university, which, I mean, I would love to get, updates on what's going on. But does that mean I'm going to get spam from Callaway Villas until I'm 60?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure how they get your email right now, but I can tell you that Gmail has very good email filtering options and has state-of-the-art, world-class spam filtering that comes automatically. I mean, I never get spam on my Gmail. I don't know much else.
Permission to rephrase a little bit?
Since there are no other questions, you may ask a follow-up question.
Okay, so would there be something that IT department could do to make sure that once you graduate, you're not getting all this like campus living and come to our event kind of stuff? It's just spam.
Yeah, I think, well, I guess every account would be kind of flagged as current student or not current student. The only way I can think of them for them to get those emails is through Open Records or some other bulk mail service that already flags you as student or not a student. But these, it'll also be going to a separate account. So if you don't want to use that TMU account, you don't have to. But once again, if it's spam and you mark it as spam, then that gets filtered out immediately. If enough people mark something as spam, then it no longer shows up. So that actually fixes a lot of the problems.
Senator Harris.
Chair Harris, Rules and Regulations. You mentioned open records requests. We all know that our university emails are public information.
Yes.
Would this also be the same thing like this for Gmail? Is this also become public information?
To my knowledge, I think that it would be the same just because of federal regulations. The data belongs to the university. So if you don't want to get open records requested, and I could be wrong about this, but if you don't want to get that, then use private email.
Senator Walters.
Senator Walters, College of Veterinary Medicine. Will the fact that we're going to be having 50,000 plus students plus an infinite number of alumni using the email system, is that going to weigh down the system enough more for crash or
Google serves over 1 million requests per second. So.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, that concludes the period for question and answer. You want to adopt our agenda?
Yes, well, that's it. So, yeah. So what you've actually been looking at is an amendment. I mean, all the changes are up there already. I just added some things to make this bill even more awesome. Citations in there.
Is there a second on that amendment? Okay, brief pause. In order, when someone makes a motion, most of the time, it requires a second before it is heard by the body. That prevents people like from just on their own making dilatory motions all the time. So in order to second something, just raise your placard and it'll be marked. The only time it matters how many people second something is when a roll call vote is called, and that actually makes a difference as to whether it happens or not. But other times, as long as one person does it, then it doesn't matter who it was. So anyway, we will now move into debate on this amendment to the bill. So is there any debate against this amendment? To debate against, raise a fist. Seeing none, is there any debate for the amendment? It will be in order, but in order to debate for an amendment, you raise your right hand. So with that, the chair deems debate one-sided on this amendment, and we will move into a vote.
Quick point of personal preference. Guys, I'd really like if we could make a strong statement to BC University and vote unanimously for the bill. If you have any problems that should have been addressed in the question.
All right, and this is a vote on the amendment.
We move for a voice vote, is now the time to do that?
It will be a voice vote anyway, since it's an amendment. Okay, all in favor of passing this amendment to the bill, this is not a vote on the bill itself, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. That passes unanimously.
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment to the bill.
Do you have that right?
Yes, sir. My amendment would strike whereas 9, there's a typo, and it refers to a school in Austin incorrectly. Whereas 9 to read Texas University.
Is there a second? That has been seconded.
So you need to be in writing.
It is in writing.
All right.
All right. Is there any debate against the amendment?
No. Are you kidding?
Okay, I mean, I have no problem in principle. I just don't want to distract from the message of the bill. And I mean, it's less professional than I think the level that the bill is. That's kind of how I feel about it.
All right, debate in favor, Chair Cheshire.
Howdy, Senate. I don't feel like the Aggie spirit has ever been unprofessional. I think it's the most professional way to go about this. This bill is going to be sent, I don't want to say domestically, but it's going to be kept in-house. We're not going to Austin with it. I think it'd be better and more red ass to tell our administration where we stand on the classification of that tiny little liberal article in Austin. And with that,
Okay. All right, a motion for previous question has been made by Chair Harrison and has received multiple seconds. So what that does is previous question closes debate and moves immediately into a vote on the bill. So this is like calling for cloture in the U.S. Senate, basically. It just ends debate right there and requires 2/3 to pass. So all in favor of previous question, which is moving into a vote and ending debate, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes, and we will now move into a vote.
I move to vote on the amendment.
Okay. All right, amendments are by default, but yes. All in favor of this amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. The chair calls his own division. So what division is when a voice vote is called and it's not clear to me what side the vote came down on, then any member of the floor or I can call for division, and that is a standing vote to basically affirm the voice vote. So all in favor of this amendment, please stand. All right, all opposed to this amendment, please stand. Okay, in the opinion of the chair, that clearly fails. So we will now move into a vote into debate on the bill itself. Is there any debate against the bill? Seeing no debate against, the chair moves debate one-sided, and we will now move into a period of voting.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a voice vote.
A motion has been made for a voice vote on this bill. It has been seconded. All in favor of taking a voice vote on this bill, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. That passes. All in favor of the Go Google bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. That passes unanimously. is SB 6554, the Fairness and Equivalence and Makeup Responsibilities Bill.
This is a good one too. These are all fantastic.
Okay, howdy. Howdy. So this bill is on student rules, which nobody cares about, but it actually does maybe will affect you in the future. So basically what it says is that professors can't punish you for having to make up an exam that you had a university excuse for. So I've heard a lot of cases, some from senators, that professors will kind of discourage you from being sick on exam by giving you an essay exam instead of multiple choice or something like that. And that's not fair. If you're really sick, then you're really sick, and you shouldn't have a format that's harder for you. If you could scroll down. Basically, the wording of the rule is right there. So, yeah, I pretty much outlined it. It also has an appeals process, so basically what it's saying is that like you and the professor have to come to an agreement on what is a fair makeup. And if you can't, then you can appeal it to the department head or to the dean, and so on and so forth. So, any questions? All right.
Point of personal preference. Can we make that bigger since I got moved even farther back now? Thank you.
All right. First question, Senator Janino.
Senator Trevino off campus. Just to clarify, so if someone has a university excused absence, the first step would be that the professor and that individual come to an agreement, and then if, I guess you're saying if the professor violates the agreement, that there's an appeal, or is it that there's a standard, meaning that you have to basically offer the same test, and if you disagree as a student, then you appeal?
So this, yes, thank you for asking that. The standard is equivalent curricular scope and rigor, which means they can't test you on more stuff than the original test was. It can't be harder. And it also says for an exam, it has to be the same format. That's multiple choice or whatever the original exam was. Now, if the student disagrees with the professor on something, then they can go to the department head. And there's no, you don't have to fill out a form, you just go to them. There are certain cases where it's impossible to offer an exam with the same format, like a lab, practical, or something like that. In which case, there's kind of a loophole there, but the student always has to be kind of satisfied with it.
Perfect, thank you.
Senator Wood.
Jason Wood off campus. I just had a question. Professors are supposed to be fair, but this bill addresses the professors who might not be. If a student comes to the professor and misses the first exam, what do you think, how would that affect their grade down the line if the professor kind of has an animosity towards that particular student, towards future subjective tests where they can be subjectively graded? And with this whole negotiation process, some bad blood might be.
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, there's already an appeals process for anything that affects your final grade. You can go to, let's see if I can remember it, the University Appeals Panel. But there's always a process. You don't even have to go that far. You can usually go up to the department head, or if that doesn't work, to the dean. So you can always appeal your grade. So if there is animosity from that initial issue going on, then the student has the right to go up and appeal his final grade because they screwed me over, and then the professor's going to look really bad because they lost twice. Sure.
All right. Are there any further questions? Senator Walters.
Senator Walters, Boston Veterinary Medicine. Will this apply to things that there are quizzes and assignments that are given as an extra credit opportunity in this thing?
That's a good question. So it doesn't cover what has to be made up. Like there's already a rule that says, this is what the professor has to offer makeup for. However, because it's a university excuse, yes, it probably would. If you have a university excuse absence, then you can make up whatever you want.
Senator Wolsey.
Senator Wolsey, Northside. So I know that probably 90% of students don't go through and read the student rules. So how are we going to make sure that students know they have this right?
That's always an issue. I think I've worded the rules strongly enough, and I passed this in front of the deans earlier today, where the professors have a pretty strong obligation to be fair. And you're right, most students have read the rules, and most students might not know it's there. I can't fix that. Maybe we can think of a way to fix that, but
Okay.
but I worded it fair.
Senator Vito.
Do you know if SGA or Senate has a Facebook page or a Twitter or a website or a way to email students about progressions of legislation that affects them that we can potentially share with?
I believe we do.
Churchshire.
Yeah, County Churchshire listening first. Is there any way that this could be, do you personally know if this could be somehow sneaked into the syllabus or whatever? If you're required to have all the other stuff, maybe you could just add this as a clause as well.
It's a good idea. I mean, at some point you'll end up throwing the whole entire student rule manual in syllabus. But yeah, that's a good idea. It's a little far along the process to make it, but I could definitely see us implementing in a future bill that includes some of this, maybe not just this, but some of the rights the students have.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Seeing no further questions, we'll now move into a period of debate on this bill. Is there any debate against? Perfect. All right.
Yeah. Sorry to offer so many amendments. I brought this before the deans earlier today, and they made some suggestions that I agreed with, so I'm revising it. Just clarify some wording, makes it more practical.
All right, and if anyone wanted to raise a point of information so that the changes could be read, that is something that can be done.
Point of information. Can the change be read?
Yes.
Do you like undo so I can see? There, thank you. Okay, so we added, so we did add one exception, and that's if the student does not make up the exam within 2 weeks or so, the same class days of the original date, then we drop the requirement that the exam be in the same format. The reason we do that is because it really holds up if a professor gives out a multiple choice exam, it's kind of hard to make equivalent exams that are makeups. Basically, the thing is that you don't want to hand out the exams to all the other students while you're still waiting on that one exam. Does that make sense? So the problem is that we don't want one student to hold up the entire class. Otherwise, which is satisfactory to the student. I struck that because they really didn't like it, and it doesn't matter because the next sentence pretty much says the same thing, and I don't know why.
All right. Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the chair deems it one-sided. We will now move into a vote. All in favor of this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously.
Mr. Speaker, I have an amendment.
Okay, do you have it in writing?
Yes, it should be in the email box. Okay, well, I made it really hastily, but basically, add the right that they have. I would say, kind of simplify it, and then add that at the end with all the ADA and stuff like that that they include in the statements. Simplify.
Okay, there are several that's raised for debate against. I'll start with Chair Harris.
Just real quick, guys. So the reason that I'm opposed to this being here, I'm not opposed to the idea of this. I think it should be done in a separate bill because this is really, it seems germane to what we're doing, but what we are, the original bill is asking that we make a change to student rules. This is something, this is different, like what we put in the syllabus doesn't really have anything to do with what we're asking. And so, it could affect the outcome of the administration's acceptance of this. This isn't something that we probably talked about with in the original conversations, and so it could compromise our ability to advocate on behalf of it. Again, it's not something I disagree with. I just feel like these are two different issues. Yes, they're both affecting the same idea, but we need to get the idea passed and make it real, and then we go about figuring out how we're going to get the students to be aware of it. Now, I'll yield the floor.
Yeah, Howdy, I raised the point about it because I think it's a great idea. The problem is, we don't know if there might be some other considerations that we might need to make on whether or not we can just throw this right in there. A lot of professors are really persnickety about what goes in their syllabus and things already. So I'd like this to be in a separate bill later on, and we could really talk to them about it, see if this is even feasible to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, this is a student rule change. We've got to be real careful about these. I don't know where this would go in the rule currently. And so I agree with the past few people. I just think we need to do it in a separate bill, but I still like it.
All right. In favor, Senator Wolf?
Yeah. Okay, Senator Wolf. So I guess I do see their point that it should be a separate bill. I just want us to not overlook the fact that we need to let students know this, so that when they do get into said class and they have the easy freshman 40 questions, all multiple choice, and suddenly they miss that because they get the flu, and then suddenly they have a 10-page essay test. They didn't know that they had this right. I mean, I just don't want that to happen to students. So I will say vote this down so we can make it a separate bill. Because I guess if this is going to be student rules thing, we should make communication part of the bill. So disregard.
All right. Is there a motion to approve this question? That has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
All right, that closes the debate, and we'll now move to a vote on this amendment. All in favor of this amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. The amendment fails, and we will return to debate on the original bill. Is there any debate against the original bill? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a vote.
Speaker, move for voice vote.
The motion has been made for voice vote, has been seconded. All in favor of taking a voice vote on this bill, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. That passes. All in favor of passing the Fairness and Equivalence and NACUP Responsibilities Bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. All right, we'll now move into SB 6555, the Hazelwood Act lobbying bill.
Okay. We good? Well, howdy!
Howdy!
Real quick, guys, a pretty middle-of-the-road bill, the Hazelwood Act. Taylor will describe in detail in a second what it does. Basically, this is a government-funded way for veterans and their dependents to go to college, currently at Texas A&M. We set the Hazelwood Act, and so if you have served, or you're a dependent of someone who served, your dad's in the military, etc., then you go to school partially on the Hazelwood Act. But funding is not where we would like it to be right now, not from the student end. So what we are not asking is for any additional burden on us, on the students whatsoever, to fund this. However, it's asking the state to fund it further. Taylor?
Okay. So what the Hazelwood Act does is it exempts up to 150 credit hours for any eligible veteran or dependent of a military service member. What it does not do, it does not take money from the university. And that was a big problem. If you remember, the Hazelwood Act came across Senate several months ago, saying that it did. It actually does not. It's simply an exemption. It only exempts those tuition and fees that are applied towards education. It does not exempt parking passes. It does not exempt sports passes. It does not exempt
health services, recreational, anything like that. Now, what is being proposed, what's being talked about is several Texas public universities, the president's got together, made several lobbying attempts with the Texas legislature, including Texas A&M, about how this unfunded mandate is costing the university money, it's becoming a financial burden, they can't handle the increase in veterans and military dependents, and they are now proposing changing the Texas Education Code. And what they're proposing lies in several different directions. The first is reducing the amount of exempted hours. Second is allowing universities to decide which portions of the Hazelwood Act they accept. The third is actually funding portions of the Hazelwood Act, and the fourth is getting rid of it altogether. All these options are on the table for our state legislature, and we want to be able to lobby in support of keeping the program and finding a way to either fund the portion that the university once funded, which is not the veteran portion, it's the Legacy Act, which affects the dependents, or find a way to make some kind of compromise with the state legislature and the university about providing some sort of state funding for the Hazelwood Act.
Just to add real quick, last time anything was mentioned about the Hazelwood Act in here, it was brought up by Bill that did not have Taylor involved on it. And so just know that Taylor Sessions here is in charge of all Veterans Affairs, period, for student government. And he works in Veterans Affairs outside student government as well. So it ever comes up in relation to veterans, and his name is not on it. There's something afoot that is not good. But he's here now. So I guess we can do questions, Scott.
All right, the first question goes to Senator Woolsey.
Senator Woolsey, Northside. So this is just kind of a question about the Hazelwood Act in general. You said it goes to their dependents too. Like, how far down does that go? Is it just their immediate dependents, or does it go to the grandchildren, the grandchildren, the grandchildren, that kind of thing? It's
Immediate dependents only, spouses and children.
Okay.
No grandchildren, nothing like that.
Okay.
All right, are there any other questions on this bill? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this bill? Seeing none, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a period of voting. The motion has been made for voice vote on this bill. It was received with multiple seconds. All in favor of taking a voice vote on this bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes. All in favor of the Hazelwood Act lobbying bill, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. All right. Okay, we will now move into open session. So what the way open session works is if you have a bill that wasn't submitted to business before, or you have any other motions that you feel need to be made, this is the time to do them. So first is Senator Chimino.
And I have position of the results.
And again, just raise your placard in order to do that.
Go ahead.
Okay. Give a 2-sentence description of your bill.
Essentially to create a mechanism to gather student opinion online through a service.
All right. All in favor of adding this to the agenda and hearing it as new business, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Nay. That passes. So this will be, what's bill's number? Okay, this will be a all no. What is the name of this bill?
Texas A&M voice of bill, and yeah, I sent that to you earlier.
Yes, I forwarded it. All right. We'll find it. Can you go ahead and start your presentation?
Okay, yeah. So the idea behind this bill is kind of a couple of things. Right now, the method that we currently use to concretely and with hard evidence gather student information, student opinion, we only have one tool for that concretely, which is a referendum. And unfortunately, it doesn't really come up enough, and we don't really have a really good understanding of the general sort of feel of A&M enough with concrete evidence that when it does come up, we end up spending more time fighting about whether the referendum is valid or has merit or what the question was or whatever. So I think it was important to kind of get that in terms of our own benefit. It was valuable for us to kind of get a better feel for students. But I also think in some discussions I had earlier, that some people thought that there already were mechanisms for students to get involved. And that would be things like talking to your senators or finding their emails online, although some of them aren't online right now. But Facebook isn't really super active. You can write a bill if you wanted to, but those are also like high impact ways of getting involved. And what this bill does is ask that on the homepage of SGA, there be a voices.tamu.edu link that would host all of these surveys for a temporary time, it's 30 days for this. That would be approved by Internal Affairs. A regular student could submit a survey, any of us could submit a survey. If you wanted to extend the time, it would have to be approved by this body. But any regular survey has to be approved by Internal Affairs. So what that does for students is they don't have to write a bill, they don't have to try and contact their senator, they don't have to try and like look through extra channels to find something. Because what this bill also says is anytime a student body president sends out email campus-wide, if we send out email campus-wide, this link is included. So they have a chance to kind of stumble upon this and they're like, oh, I actually do want to voice my opinion on that thing. So it just kind of gives us a chance to kind of get their voice, or give them the chance to give us their voice easier than what is currently available before. So.
Now you said. All right, are there any questions? Senator Russo?
Russo, off campus. Are you aware of student life studies and their role? And that in the past that the Student Senate has commissioned scientific studies on student opinion based on this service that's already available?
No, I don't know anything about it at all. Could you clarify? I don't know.
Mr. Speaker,
Point of information.
Say your point.
Could you explain what the thing Russo is on?
Okay, Student Life Studies is a department of the Division of Student Affairs that conducts polling on issues around campus. And so what makes them different is they conduct randomized scientific polls. So similar to what a company like Gallup would do of the student body. So you can be sure there's no response bias or anything like that. It is a scientific poll that not everyone can answer. It's just randomly sent out to students in their email addresses. All right, are there any further questions? Seeing none, this bill will be referred to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Are there any further items for open session? Senator Wilkinson.
Well, howdy. I've got 4 bills on the agenda.
Okay, brief description of the first one.
Sure. First one is called Off-Campus Bus Security Bill. It is a bill that's going to have any student that's getting onto an off-campus bus, either going from off-campus to campus or on-campus to off-campus, it's saying that they should be required to present a valid student ID for the exam employment.
All right, all in favor of adding this to the agenda? Aye. All opposed? Nay. The chair calls his own division. Guys, when I call voice votes, please vote. All in favor, please stand.
Wait, what are we doing?
All right, I got 32. All opposed, please stand. 13. Okay, that passes. The chair will entertain a motion to limit all presentation times for new business to 2 minutes each with 1 question. That has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. That passes. You have 2 minutes.
It is very basic. I have 4 of these. They're all very fast. This one is just as a way to prevent people that are not students at Texas A&M University or related from getting on buses, because it is creating additional wait times for students that are wanting to get to their classes, or for those who just don't belong to buses. People are sometimes bringing kids in like their wheelchairs, like strollers, and I think those buses are part of student services paid for by the students, and should be addressed appropriately as a service for the students. That's what I got. Pretty good out there, but I'll take questions to clarify anything.
All right. The 1 question goes to Senator Prairie.
Senator Prairie, Geosciences. On the transit site, it says that guests of Texas A&M can also use the bus. How would that affect them? Because guests come from off campus as well.
that is valid and something I wrote these bills quick and didn't get a chance to look into. I think it's worth talking to them about seeing an exception can be made on campus, especially maybe during peak times of traffic, like especially early in the mornings or after school. That's something that's worth looking into. Thank you.
All right, this bill will be referred to the Student Services Committee. All right, are there any further items for open session? Senator Matt.
I would like to request that bill be taken out of committee.
Okay, a motion has been made to take what bill out of committee?
5565, I believe.
Dyslexia,
severe dyslexia.
All right, the motion has been made to pull SB 6556, which is the...
Can I preface?
Okay.
Can I say the reason why?
Yes, you may make a brief description of your motion.
Okay, yeah, it's very simple. Student Services did not meet this week, and it got sent to SS. It is another veterans bill. Taylor's here. We just need to get it out of the way while he can.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, all in favor of taking this out of committee? Actually, that is a debatable motion, so is there any debate against pulling this out of committee?
Mr. Speaker, I've debated it. I don't think that we should skip the whole entire committee process. These committees exist for a reason. And even if it's a well-written bill, Thomas, I'm sure you and Taylor wrote it, and I'm sure it's great, I feel like it needs to be reviewed. I don't think there's anything, if we pass this bill tonight or if we pass it 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Point of information, what is the title of the bill we're discussing?
Okay, the title of the bill is I've got it. It is the Veterans Resource and Support Center bill.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I've never even read this bill. I don't know what's in it. I'm sure I could go back and look at it real quick and probably agree with it, but I really think that our committees exist for a reason and that we ought to utilize them. And with that, I yield to the floor.
All right, speaking of favor, Senator Matt.
Hi. All right, I completely agree, Kerry. We have committees for a reason. I'm a former Student Services chair myself. I'm very biased toward the value of committees, and I completely agree. However, this isn't affecting just us. In fact, I would say the majority of this is not affecting us, and we are the ones who have fallen short here, okay? Bills were sent to Student Services, and Student Services had the opportunity to look it over, and they didn't, okay? And so the legislature's meeting right now. Okay, decision on this will be made right now. So you don't think a month is gonna, if we send it back to committee, it's gonna meet. Hopefully, if SS does decide to meet again, okay, which I was just talking to an SS member, they haven't met. We missed like 3 recently, and there've been bills every time. So just because we're dropping the ball doesn't mean the veterans should have to suffer. So listen, this is a very non-controversial bill. I agree with the process, but again, Student Services just didn't meet this week. They had their opportunity to. We're not asking to leapfrog the system. All other bills, when they were presented at the time that this was presented, all were sent to committee. All the other committees met, voted on the bills, did the committee's job. They were sent back here. This one just got left out in the rain. That's it. So everything on the bill side was done properly, and I don't think that we should allow others to suffer when. State your point.
What was the reason you said there was an opportunity to meet? What was the reason they didn't?
I have no idea.
I would refer that to the Student Services chair, but he's not present at this time.
We can do better than this.
Point of personal preference, could this be emailed out?
Sure.
Yes, I will forward out the email that this bill is.
It already was forwarded out by Maria.
It was?
No.
Yeah, anyways, we're doing everything that we can here, guys. When committees don't meet, a bill doesn't, what are you going to do? Oh, this is the
You have another one.
Oh, I do?
This is the date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So just for all the new ladies and gentlemen in the room, just to make this very, very simple, we're sending these every other weekend here. Bills are like Luke's bill, the ID bill. It's presented. Everybody can get a brief overview of the bill, email that to everybody, and then sent to committee for the following week. The following week, the committee has an opportunity and should do its job to overview bills. This is one that everybody's going to agree on, okay? It's not trying to sneak one anywhere, okay? It's very, very simple. And then it's sent back to the Senate and committee, just is it ready for the floor? This is ready for the floor. And then it's voted on. You guys' the final decision. The committee didn't meet. It's not anyone's fault. No veterans are blamed for us not doing our job. Okay, so let's not delay them another month. Let's just do this. It's very common sense. Let's not let rules and regulations and the denotative rules that we have get in the way of the connotative purpose of student government, which is to help these people. Very simple. Thanks.
Point of parliamentary procedure, is there a way that we could push this down or allow one of those other 4 bills to come up so that we could have time to read this before we?
You could postpone this motion until the end of the meeting. So that motion could be made.
Motion to do that?
You may make a motion if you, no one has the floor right now, so yes, you may make a motion. A motion has been made to postpone the consideration of this motion. The bill has not been pulled out of committee yet, but to postpone the consideration of this motion until, what time?
Can I say, what, do I have to give it a number of times?
Yeah, say a time in the meeting. So
Okay, so
the end of open session
say-
after another bill has been considered.
Say
What is the end of
until
30?
until, which is in 12 minutes. I guess time people read it and share them.
Okay, so to postpone it for 12 minutes, that is the motion? All right. Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to...
30. You get 12 minutes.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to postpone the consideration of this motion for 12 minutes. I actually, that is a debatable motion, so is there any debate against this motion?
Can I just debate against, just I'll rock with the question, does anyone want to extend it? That's basically what I want. Does anyone want to do like 17 more? Okay, just say it's 12. Okay, good.
Okay, seeing no debate against, we will now, the chair deems debate one-sided, and we will now move into a vote on this motion. So if you want to postpone the consideration of this motion for 12 minutes, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
The opinion of the chair, that passes, so we will take this motion up again at 8:29 p.m. All right, are there any further items for open session? Senator Williamson.
The $9 rollover bill.
Okay. All right, all in favor of adding this to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, you have